Hello and welcome. This is Notibot ENG. We're coming to you live with a recap of today's top news from around the world. The Middle East crisis continues to simmer, with tensions escalating between Iran and the U.S. A proposal by Washington to end the war has been met with skepticism, as Iranian officials warn it's more of a wish list than a reality. We'll take you through the latest developments, including updates on ship traffic in the Strait of Hormuz and the role China is playing in shaping the conflict. Let's get started. As tensions in the Middle East continue to escalate, a fresh development has emerged that raises questions about the prospects of an imminent ceasefire. The Middle East crisis continues to escalate as tensions between the U.S. and Iran remain high. According to a report by Axios, the U.S. has proposed a one-page memorandum to end the war in the region, but Iranian officials are casting doubt on the proposal's feasibility. Ebrahim Rezai, spokesperson for the Iranian parliament's National Security and Foreign Policy Commission, described the U.S. offer as an American wish list and not a reality. Rezai warned that Iran is prepared to respond harshly if its demands are not met. The proposed memorandum includes several key provisions, including a moratorium on nuclear enrichment. However, Iranian officials have rejected some of these demands as excessive and unrealistic. The report also stated that the U.S. is expecting Tehran to respond to its proposal within 48 hours. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson, Esmail Baghaei, has confirmed that the U.S. proposal is still being reviewed by Tehran. He added that once Iran concludes its assessment, it will convey its views to the Pakistani side. The nuclear issue is not currently being discussed as part of the negotiations. The situation remains volatile, with President Trump threatening to resume the conflict unless Iran agrees to give in. Trump's comments come after a weekend of rhetoric from the U.S. president, who insisted that Iran had not yet paid a big enough price for its actions. The crisis in the Middle East is deeply concerning, with regional tensions and global implications at play. As negotiations continue, it remains unclear whether a resolution can be reached or if the situation will escalate further. Following a significant development in the region's maritime security, Iran has announced that several ships have successfully navigated the Strait of Hormuz under new regulations. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, Navy has announced that ships are complying with new transit regulations set by Tehran in the Strait of Hormuz. The move comes after regional tensions escalated following strikes on Iran by the United States and Israel on February 28, which led to retaliation from Tehran and disruptions in the waterway. The IRGC Navy stated that cooperation between vessels is contributing to regional maritime security. According to the force, safe and stable passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be ensured under new protocols after threats by the aggressor had been neutralized. The designated route for vessels transiting the strait was previously announced by Iran, but tensions rose when Yadallah Javani, deputy political chief of the IRGC, said that maritime transit would take place only with Iran's authorization. Javani warned that any vessel seeking to pass through the waterway must obtain permission from Iran's armed forces. This statement added to the already tense situation in the region. However, following Pakistani mediation, a ceasefire took effect on April 8. Despite this, talks in Islamabad failed to produce a lasting agreement. The new transit regulations and Iran's stance on maritime security matter as they reflect the ongoing tensions between Iran and its regional adversaries. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical waterway for international trade, with over 20% of global oil shipments passing through it. Any disruption to this flow could have significant economic implications. As the situation in the region continues to unfold, monitoring developments in the Strait of Hormuz will be crucial for understanding the implications of these new regulations. A shocking statement from former U.S. President Donald Trump has sparked a new wave of speculation about the conflict in Iran and potential diplomatic breakthroughs. U.S. President Donald Trump has made a statement suggesting that the ongoing war between the U.S. and Iran could come to an end if Tehran agrees to certain terms. According to Trump's Truth Social account, this would involve Iran accepting a proposed agreement which would allow the Hormuz Strait to be opened up to all countries, including Iran itself. The Hormuz Strait is a critical waterway that connects the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. Control over it has significant implications for global energy markets and regional security. Disruptions to shipping through the strait can have major economic consequences and even lead to conflict between nations. It is unclear what specific demands Iran would need to meet in order to achieve this outcome, or when any potential military action would take place. Trump's statement does not provide further details on these points, but makes it clear that he is holding out the prospect of an end to hostilities if Iran agrees to cooperate. This development comes at a time when tensions between the U.S. and Iran have been escalating, with both sides engaging in reciprocal acts of aggression and sabotage. The situation remains highly volatile, and any attempts to find a peaceful resolution will be closely watched by regional players and global leaders alike. With the potential for renewed conflict looming, it is essential that all parties work towards finding a mutually acceptable solution. As tensions between the U.S. and Iran continue to escalate, a new player is emerging in the region, China's President Xi Jinping, whose influence could significantly alter the trajectory of the conflict. In a significant development in the U.S.-Iran war, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi met with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi in Beijing on Wednesday. The meeting comes as efforts to broker a peace deal between Tehran and Washington gain momentum. According to analysts, China's involvement is motivated by shared interests with the United States in reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The strait, which separates Iran from Oman, is a crucial waterway through which roughly one-fifth of the world's oil and gas passes. Disruptions to shipping through the strait have sent shockwaves through the global economy, with China particularly affected by the disruption of Gulf energy flows to East Asia. The visit marks a significant shift in Beijing's approach to the conflict, with analysts suggesting that China is seeking to play a mediating role between Washington and Tehran. Wang Yi told Araghchi that a comprehensive ceasefire brooks no delay, and that persisting with negotiations is particularly important. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio had earlier urged China to press Iran to ease its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, citing concerns over the impact on global energy supplies. The meeting between Araghchi and Wang Yi comes a week before U.S. President Donald Trump's scheduled visit to Beijing on May 14th and 15th. The timing of the Chinese-Iranian talks is also significant, as they take place against the backdrop of mounting tensions between Tehran and Washington over the Strait of Hormuz. With the global economy still reeling from the disruptions caused by the conflict, China stands to benefit from a peaceful resolution that secures the reopening of the strait. As tensions in the Middle East continue to escalate, the Trump administration's latest move has left many questioning its intentions regarding Iran and regional security. The White House has sent mixed messages on the ongoing situation in Iran, amid reports that U.S. President Donald Trump has paused a naval operation in the Strait of Hormuz. The operation, which began in April, aimed to deter Iranian attacks on shipping in the region. According to CBS News sources, Trump announced the pause on Wednesday, citing progress made by Iranian authorities. However, in a statement released earlier this week, National Security Advisor John Bolton said that the U.S. would continue to work with its allies to protect maritime trade routes. This has led to confusion over whether the operation is still active or not. The Strait of Hormuz, which connects the Gulf of Oman to the Persian Gulf, is a critical waterway for global oil supplies. Iran has long been concerned about the presence of U.S. forces in the region and has threatened to retaliate against any future attacks on its shipping. Critics say that Trump's pause on the operation sends a mixed signal, potentially emboldening Iranian authorities while also leaving allies feeling insecure. The situation remains fluid, with tensions between the U.S. and Iran at an all-time high. The international community is watching closely as this crisis unfolds. As one diplomat told CBS News, "This is not over yet. We're in uncharted territory here." With no clear indication of what's next, observers are left to wonder if the pause on the operation will hold or if tensions will escalate further. That's all for today's news recap. We appreciate your attention to these critical stories affecting global stability. For more in-depth analysis and breaking news, please subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. Stay up to date with the latest developments from around the world. We'll be back with another update soon.